Welcome. And on this May weekend, probably like no other May weekend any of us have had, just sit back and relax, make a wee something to eat and drink, because you're invited to Saturday morning tea in the hall.
To tea in the hall, come one and come all, from Saturdays at nine. There's no bacon rolls, no scones, no snowballs, and nothing to drink at all. But we will share friendship and fellowship, fun quizzes, some stories, some talk. So mat yer in tea and a biscuit all day, please join us for tea in the hall. Oh, the doors are shut, the church all locked up, there's nothing going on in the hall, but just the same, we'll praise God's name. He doesn't change at all. So now it's time in your house and mine to answer to the call. Bring your hen cup and come and sup with us, tea in the hall.
Up. And the first one is Newcomnick's very own Mr. Ian Burgoyne, who, as always, has a story to tell about something or other. And today it's about some women at the bingo in Ayr.
Here's a wee thing that all you women love, and it's no milk tray. It's a wee bit nonsense about the bingo in Ayr. It's all aboard that bus for Ayr. We're all going down to the bingo there. We go once, maybe twice a week. It depends on how much of the housekeeping we sneak. A good hour's run gets us to the hall, as into other tunes we call, to pick up other bingo bellas. In Auchinleck there's a couple of fellas. By the time we reach our destination, our heads are full of concentration. It's out of the bus, and we all pay our cash, nab a half at the bar, well, just a wee dash. We get our cards, and we'll sit in rows. Come on, old champion, rummel with your boys, all eyes down and pens at the ready. I'm all roughed up and my hand's no steady. Oh, bingo card, you're sick a scunner, lying down there with all your numbers. A full house the nicht would do me fine. Oh my God, I'm only needing £4.09. £300 the prize I'll get, and there's none of they twain he came out yet. It's by itself, number 9, score it off, now that's 2 lines. Oh, number 4, please come out, and I'll hurry home with all this loot. We'll go abroad in the month of June, over to Rossi, or maybe Dunoon. Oh, the sweat, it's running down my back, just like a bullet that's nearest the jack. 2 numbers to go for the big jackpot. If 4 comes out, I'll get home with a lot. By this time, my neighbours, all round about, are hoping and praying for 4 to come out. Number 4's the next number up. Right, I shout, as my nerves they erupt. I'm fair excited as I jump in the air. I've lathered my stockings, they've got caught in the chair. The man came up to check off my beard. He's really quite handsome, but I'm not keen on his beard. He's rattling them off to the wee binger collar. I'll gie all my grandwains £1 and $1. The checker, he stopped and says, "Say that again. Number 7's no out." "A false call," they're all saying. The guy rips up my card and he throws it away. That's the rule in here, if you gie a false call. I can feel my heart thumping as I sit in my seat. I'm really that dumpet. The feeling was great. The first in 10 weeks I've had been in with a shout. I thought I was rigged. I hadn't a doubt. Oh well, it's really no risk to kick up a fuss. But I'll do all my morning getting home in the bus. Thank you.
Many thanks to Ian. That's his Sunday name, no his Saturday name. Folk usually call him Budgie. Now, I don't know if that's because he likes to Twitter on or because of his former profession, since Budgie rhymes with bathroom. Time for a song now from Rachel Murray, who sings Stand By Me.
This is Stand By Me. When the night has come, the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel sings her songs like she lives her life, straightforwardly, openly, honestly, and completely joyfully. Although in these days of social distancing, I don't know if Stand By Me would be in the approved list. Quiz time. And thanks to my cousin, Alec Dunlop, who sent the quiz to me just at the right time. And the subject of our quiz this time is where in Ayrshire. So you're guessing or trying to work out place names in Ayrshire from the clues that you're given. We'll answer each one. I'll give you the answer after each question, so that you're not tempted to Google anything and get the answer. If you're playing in a group, then it'll be first come, first served. And you can have a wee pencil ready and a piece of paper. There are 20 questions in Where in Ayrshire. For example, don't turn the corner would be straight on, straighten. So here we go. An easy one for number 1. The capital of Russia is Moscow, we would say. Don't know what the Russians would say. Moscow. Number 2, every 24 hours. Every 24 hours would be daily. And number 3, amounts of money you get but pay back. Amounts of money you get but pay back. The wee village of Loans, just outside Troon. Number 4, in Scots, the feline jogged. The feline jogged in Scots, which would be Catrin. Number 5, unmarried women. Unmarried women is maidens. I prefer to call them unclaimed treasures. Number 6, is in every breath you take. I've just given you the answer. Is in every breath you take air. Number 7, gives you a fright. Gives you a fright is scarce. Number 8, permit entry. Permit entry, which is alloway. Number 9, goes with a clique and a lorry attached. Goes with a clique and a lorry attached. Well, you would need to be a certain generation to know that you had a ger and a clique. So, Girvan. Number 10, Church of Mickey. Church of Mickey is Kirkmichael. Number 11, angry dwelling place. Angry dwelling place, which is Cross House. And number 12, keep out. To keep out. Short word and a smaller village is Bar. Number 13, finished Mr. Duck. Finished Mr. Duck. That would be done Donald. Number 14, angry mountain. Angry mountain is Cross Hill. And 15, out of shape house. Out of shape house, which is Crooked Home, wee village just before you get to Hurlford. Number 16, arrive and sharp. Arrive and sharp, which would be come knock. It's the Scottish word sharp, not the English word sharp. 17 is justly, which is another way of saying fairly. Number 18, a step. Step is stair. Number 19, murder success. Murder success. Kill winning. And I wonder how many places with cross there are in Ayrshire and many places with Kell. That's something to think about for the next time. Number 20, strong winds are strong winds, gales. Well, if you get 20, I think if you got between 16 and 20, you give yourself a clap on the back, or you can do a wee victory dance. It wasn't too hard a quiz as long as you knew your Ayrshire place names. So please send in quizzes if you like, and we'll maybe have a couple of quizzes, 2 or 3 quizzes the next time. But thanks for playing. Where in Ayrshire? New Cumnor is full of really talented people, and I hope over the weeks other folk will come and sing a song for us, or say a poem, or tell a story. Sometimes you know the talents that folk have, and sometimes they're hidden talents. And I asked Margaret Chung to give us some photographs that I thought I might put some nice music to, but she went, she got the photos, and not just did she get lovely photographs, but she wrote a poem herself, and it's called Lambs in Lockdown.
Lambs in lockdown. In a world locked down, locked in, locked out, where abnormal is the new norm, maybe we sigh, cry out and ask why as we greet another morn. It was a different Easter this year. No gathering at the Bing. Easter service at my kitchen table, and heavens, no choir to help us sing. But even in this vastly changed world, a world that's locked out to some, the daffodils still bloomed, lambs still arrived, spring in all its glory has come. We all no doubt love the lambs, some like a touch of mint sauce, add in some tatties, carrots and peas, but to me they're not only a course. They arrive in a trickle, always in pairs, small dots in the spring green grass. Then voila, within a few short days, the air's filled with a chorus of bars. These wee white bundles on wee shaky legs mostly cling close to their ma. In no time at all they skip and they run, sometimes straying too far. The man and ban starts up in full vein. To us their cries all sound the same, but they know their mammies and she knows theirs. Reunited, peace restored once again. There's no social isolation in fields, no need to adopt a faraway stance. And when the shepherd appears, there's a cavalry charge. That bit's slow when you haven't a chance. Boots on my feet, I can escape every day to walk uphill or down the glen. In a world that's changed in so many ways, I often ask God how or when. Then I remember we too have a shepherd, Jesus, greater than any on earth. Casting our anxieties on him because he cares is a treasure of immeasurable worth.
And thank you to Rachel again for that lovely, clear voiced rendition of Amazing Grace. It's quiz time. You'll have heard of Sister Act, but we are able to go one better this morning, and we have Brother and Sister Act. The primary school children of New Cumnock are absolutely superb at saying Burns poetry and all kinds of Scots poetry. I don't think I've ever heard people recite poems like that and put as much expression into every single word. And Erin and Bruce Guild are no exception. They were poetry winners this year. And we're going to start off with Erin, who reads a section from Burns' poem, Tam O'Shanter.
An extract from Tam O'Shanter by Robert Burns. When chapmen billies leave the street, and driffy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing wait, and folk begin to tap the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy, getting foo and unco happy, we think na on the Wanscott Miles, the mosses, waters, flaps and stiles, that lie between us and our hame, where sits a sulky southern dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. There's turf and on his Tam O'Shanter, as he for e'er I night did canter, all day while me their tunes their passes, fair honest men and bonny lassies. Oh, Tam, has thou but been so wise as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice? She told thee well there was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blethum, that fae November till October, I market day thou wast sober, that ilka melder with a miller, thou sat as long as thou had siller, that every nag a cad is shone, the swift and knee got roaring full on, that at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou gently curtained Jean, till Monday, she prophesied that late or soon, thou...
Thanks, Erin. That was great. Every word was caught, every meaning was expressed, and the actions were terrific. Although I was looking, and I think sometimes you were imitating your mother some of the times. Maybe no, you can tell me. And now Bruce is going to entertain us with a Scots poem. You know that it's a Scots poem because only a Scots poem would have these three words in it. A Janny, a Granny, and a Sanny.
The Ballad of Janet Mackay by Margaret Green. I was playing Kippy-Uppy in the street outside Skill when Joe Mackay's big brother, who's an idiot and a fool, went and took my football off me, and he done it hard, and it stuttered over the railings into the Johnny's yard. Oh, Mackay's a mean old scunner. He was dozing in the sun, and when my football put one on him, Ben Mackay began to run, and Mackay picked up my football, and he looked at me and glowered, but I stood my ground, for maybe say that I'm a coward. But when he licked the palings and fell and skinned his nose, I tucked my heels and felt it right up my granny's clothes. I could feel the stairwell shaking as after me he tore, and he nearly cracked his wallies as he cussed at me and swore. Oh, save me, Gran, I stuttered as I reached my granny's house, for Mackay was getting nearer and his face was turning puce. Now my gran was having tea with Effie, Bruce and Mrs. Scrobby, and when she heard the stushy, she came belting through the lobby. My gran's only 5'10", but she ken what she's about. You've had it now, Mackay, I cried, my granny'll sort you out. See the Johnny, see my granny hit him with a sanny. Then she turned a bucket over him and he tumbled down the stair and landed in the dunny with a bakey in his hair. Fortunes change off a sudden. Imagine, he cried me a midden. I got my ball back up.
Thank you to Bruce for that action-packed poem. Apparently he likes to practice outside, even in the winter, doing his poetry, which is maybe why when his mum sent the video through to me, it kept getting frozen. But Erin sorted it out eventually. So thanks to the two of them. And just for Bruce, and for Erin, and for the Guild family up in the hills, and for anybody that doesn't know what Keepy Uppy is, here's a wee slide. Thinking about Keepy Uppy, it would actually be hard in terms of Newcomnock's history to Keepy Uppy with our next guest, Mr. Bobby Guthrie. He has very kindly put together a wee story and some slides about certainly one of my favourite places in Newcomnock, Corsencon. Bobby.
Hello, Bobby Guthrie here, joining you from my home in Barrhead. Helen kindly asked if I could contribute to Tea in the Hall with some snippets from Newcomnock's past. Today I'd like to share some views of Corsencon, one of the most recognisable hills in the parish, along with stories from its place in Newcomnock's history. Growing up in Dolhana Drive, I enjoyed a great view of the hill from the front gate and the back garden. Of course, it was also Newcomnock's own weather forecast. When Corsencon has on its hat, you may be sure it's going to be wet. When Corsencon has on its tie, you may be sure it's going to be dry. Although the name Corsencon is not the oldest in the parish, it's the earliest Newcomnock name that I've found in the written records. It appears in the charter of the Royal Borough of Ayr in 1205. William I, King of Scots, or William the Lion as we ken him, grants his fund peace to all merchants coming to buy and sell at the Borough of Ayr, and commands that toll and custom due to the borough shall be given and received at Meath, Carnabooth, Loudon, Corsencon, and Leigh. No toll or customs belonging to the borough is to be taken out with these marches. The location of toll and custom points are shown in the maps and their routes into the sheriffdom of Ayr, the forerunner to modern Ayrshire. So down at the south you see Lochhalpin, up at the north Meath and Carnabooth, in the east you see Loudon, and there in the southeast is Corsencon. And the route in at Corsencon at that time would follow what we now know as Mansfield Road. So we can rightly claim that Newcomnock is an ancient gateway into Ayrshire, and by royal appointment. The photo of course shows Corsencon, the River Nith and the Merch Brig. Merch is the Scots word for boundary. Newcomnock is rightly proud of its connections with her patriot Sir William Wallace, which can be found in the writings of Blind Harry. Perhaps the most well-known extract is "And Wallace passed in Cumnor with Blithewell at the Black Rock, where he was wont to be, upon that stead a royal house held he." These words may well identify that Wallace was a crown tenant in the lands of Black Rock or Black Craig. However, in the early 1700s, William Hamilton of Gilbertfield produced a best-selling translation of Harry's work, which sadly omitted a number of references to Newcomnock, including this reference to Corsencon. "At Corsencon the gate was spilt that tide, forth aye that way behoved them for to ride." Wallace and his men were returning from Lanarkshire at the time, heading no doubt for the Black Rock. However, the gate was spilt, that is, the road was destroyed, a common tactic during conflict. Wallace and his men had to backtrack and come by the way of Loudon Hill, where they defeated an English force. Our national bard Robert Burns was very familiar with the landscape of Corsencon and the River Nith, along with its horseshoe loops. In 1788 and 89 he travelled back and forth between Mauchline and Ellisland Farm as they set up a new home on the banks of the Nith for him and Jean Armour and their children. It was during this time that they penned "O Were I on Parnassus Hill." Raby's thoughts turned to ancient Greece. he pined for Mount Parnassus, home of the Muses, and Mount Helicon, home to a spring, the Muses' source of poetic inspiration. Instead, Burns is almost apologetic and forlorn for having to settle for Corsencon and the River Nith as his source of inspiration to express his feelings for Bonnie Jean. No need to apologise, I'm sure you will agree when you read the words. Oh, were I on Parnassus hill, or had O Helicon my fill, that I might catch poetic skill to sing how dear I love thee. But Nith maun be my Muse's well, my Muse maun be thy bonny cell, and Corsencon I'll glower and spell, and write how dear I love thee. Then come, sweet Muse, inspire my lay, for a' the lee lang summer's day, I couldna sing, I couldna say, how much, how dear I love thee. I see thee dancing now the green, thy waist sae jimp, thy limbs sae clean, thy tempting lips, thy roguish een, by heaven and earth I love thee. By night, by day, afield at hame, the thoughts o' thee my breast inflame, and I amuse and sing thy name, I only live to love thee. Though I were doomed to wander on, beyond the sea, beyond the sun, till my last weary sand was run, till then and then I love thee. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short snapshot of Corsencon, and of course enjoyed your cup of tea. I've caught the Muse and we'll finish off with a wee ditty. Not by Burns. There is a bonny kirkin coming up new, whose tower top offers a wondrous view, mind, not of Helicon and Parnassus hill, but of our majestic Con, so tak your fill, and that's the bonny kirkin coming up new. Take care, see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Bobby, as always. Just that brilliant combination of the warmth that you have for Newcomnack and your expert knowledge of the place and its surroundings. And I hope you realise too that our contributors today number 3 Kilmarnock supporters, which is probably 3 more than you've seen for a long time. And our final guest this morning is indeed a guest minister and one of my colleagues, and she will introduce herself. Hello, I'm happy to be here. It gives me the greatest delightfication to be with you all tonight. My name is the Reverend I. M. Jolie. My middle name's M, as in James Bond's M. My last name's Jolie. It's the French for jolly, I think. Well, if it's not the French for jolly, it's pretty close. That's me, the Reverend I. M. Jolie. But my friends call me Angelina. I've come to support the hopeless and cheer the desperate, which is what folk do at Ibrox when it's open. But first, some announcements. The only singers now wanted in the choir are tenors. That's anybody who can sing 10 or 11 metres away from anybody else. The choir are also asked to note that on police advice, we will no longer be singing Shall We Gather at the River, but have been able to substitute it with I Come to the Garden Alone. Now we are, of course, facing many challenges these days, but there's one sector of their community under particular strain. So we have formed a support group, and we've called it Hairdressers Anonymous. It's not for hairdressers themselves, you understand. Hairdressers Anonymous is for those of our number who just can't live without a hairdresser, for whom life without a hairdresser is no life at all. The symptoms of such a malady are clearly seen in our society. No grey areas. Actually, grey areas are about all there is. Sometimes these poor unfortunates take matters into their own hands and give a whole new meaning to the phrase edited highlights. Very drastically edited highlights. I'm led to believe that last week the Tesco shelves were completely emptied of Clairol, and the very next day B&Q's shelves were completely emptied of fence paint for the same reason. You know, those in need of Hairdressers Anonymous do venture out from time to time. The other day, in fact, I thought this self-isolation was making me hallucinate, for I was sure I saw a mop, a loo brush, and a feather duster walking past my window. But here it was 3 folk from Miller Road gone to the key store. If it hadn't been for the regulations, I would have asked the man on the road back to do my housework. The only advantage for these poor folk is that as the economy of the country flounders, they'll be the only ones who can make ends meet. Split ends, but still ends. I also heard that it wasn't true that the Edinburgh Fringe had been cancelled. Simply that the Fringe would start off in Newcomnock in May and reach Edinburgh by August. Of course, Newcomnock has more hairdressers per head of population than Davina McCall. A few have premises, but most are pretty pathetic. I mean, peripatetic, gone runabout. So please, if you know of anyone who's having a bad hair day all the time, then Hairdressers Anonymous is for them. Now, I'd just like to finish by sharing a letter I had the opportunity to respond to, and I wanted to share my pearls of wisdom with you. And I can tell you, my wisdom is full of the greatest of pearls. So here we are. Dear Angelina, I would love to go for a walk, but I'm afraid of being arrested, as it's impossible for me to keep 2 meters apart, since we're all electric and we only have the 1 meter. Dear friend, if the police ask for an explanation, simply refuse. Yours, Angelina. Well, good night, my friends. Ken, the hot water milk's awfully good. Awfully good. God bless.